My name is Denzil Celestine Dcosta, lecturer at Milagros College, the Department of Hospitality Science. Today, we are going to talk about different types of cheese. Now, let's see what are the different types of cheese that are available in the market. Before going to the topics, how the cheese are classified into types. The cheese are classified into types depending on the texture, the shape, the age, and the process of making. So today, let's see the different types of cheese. First one, we have fresh cheese, that is the no rind cheese. It doesn't have any rind because it doesn't have time to age. It is a fresh cheese. Typically 19 to 24% of fat, example ricotta, mozzarella and cottage cheese. This cheese has no rind, so they look the same inside as well as the outside. Typically only a few days old, they are easy to recognize because they are too young to have developed a rind, and with their high moisture content, the texture feels wet and most like stringy like authentic mozzarella, or if pickled, a salt becomes firm but crumbly like feta. They are bright white, mild, lemony or lactic with just a hint of a potential flavor of milk. There's a light flavor of milk because of the freshness of the cheese. Some are wrapped in chestnut leaves or rolled in ash or covered in herbs. This is the first type of cheese, that is the very fresh form of cheese, which is used just after the preparation or within a few days of preparation. Next, or the second point, we go to aged fresh cheese. Wrinkled white or grey blue rind. Rind is a light skin that is created on top. Typically, again, 19 to 24% fat. The examples are the same as the fresh cheese because they are almost similar. These fresh cheese almost always are of goat's milk. They have been allowed to grow a thin, almost transparent line. It's a very thin rind. As the cheese shrinks, the pinky white rind wrinkles and a dusting of delicate blue-gray mold develops. A light blue-gray mold is developed on the rind. If allowed to dry out, the wrinkles become crevices and the blue mold darkens, and eventually the interior becomes almost brittle and the flavor intense and very good. The next point we are going to see, or the next type of cheese we are going to see, is soft white rind cheese or white fuzzy rind. Typically it has around 24 to 26% of fat. Classic examples: Camembert, Brian de Moux, Shores, Chevrilog. These grow a fine white crust rind of penicillin cadidum mold, which helps ripen the cheese and prevents the soft voluminous interior from drying out. Mild, sweet and buttery with a hint of mushroom. When young, they can develop a robust savory aroma like mushroom soup made with beef consomme with a hint of sherry to finish. That is the flavor of this cheese. Some artisan cheese will develop reddish brown ferments or yellow molds. Some are made with added cream, producing a rich creamy double or triple cream cheese. The extra cream means they will not run like a brie and may be eaten fresh, no rind or mature. The next type of cheese that we're going to see is semi-soft cheese, fine to thick grey-brown rind or orange and sticky. Typically 26 to 28% of fat. Classical examples are Edam, Port Salut, Raclette and Saint Nectaire. The curd is lightly pressed to remove whey and create a rubbery elastic texture. They attract a variety of grey, white and brown molds which are regularly brushed off. They're clean, gradually building a fine leather rind. The rind becomes leathery because of the moisture being evaporated. Some, like Edam, have a barely formed rind and are generally mild, buttery and sweet. Those with a thicker mold encrusted rind are denser and taste stronger, more earthy. They have a earthy flavor. Some are repeatedly washed in brine, often finished with alcohol, which encourage the orange sticky bacteria to develop. The result is a feisty, pungent flavor aroma. Next, we go to the next type of cheese, that is hard, crusty grey, often polished, waxed or oiled. Typically 28 to 34% of fat. Examples: cheddar, pecorino, Beaufort, Manchego, Gruyere and Parmesan. Hard cheese are pressed for hours or even weeks to remove the whey and compact the curd. Traditionally, hard British cheese like cheddar or Lancashire were wrapped in cloths, while in Europe they are tended to be soaked in brine. Both were to seal and protect the cheese from drying out in the curing cellars, where they remain for months or even years. They attract the masterpieces of white, blue, grey when pink or yellow molds, but most are brushed off during ripening, resulting in a thick, smooth, and polished rind like parmesan to barely form like cheddar. As they have a low moisture content, they take longer to mature and are typically more complex and strong flavors. The most famous cheese, that is Parmigiano Reggiano, is of this category. The next category we go to see is blue cheese, that is gritty, rough, sometimes sticky rind, typically 28 to 34% fat content. Examples: you have Stilton, Gorgonzola or Roquefort. Blue penicillium molds is sprinkled into the vats before the milk has curdled. Before the curding process, during the manufacturing process itself, this blue penicillium mold is added into the curd. Then the curd is cut, piled into molds and drained. The blue, however, needs air to develop, so the cheese is pierced. The holes are pierced into the cheese, allowing the air to penetrate the curds along the tunnel created and in the gap between the curds. The spicy taste is due to the reaction between the curds and the blue molds as they are together. The blue brine style cheese with their soft white rind are milder and much creamier. Because of the mold reacting, the cheese becomes more creamier. It is sort of a fungus that grows, or the mold that grows within the cheese because of reacting with the air. And these cheese are made for the reason so that the mold grows and a different type, a unique cheese, a unique flavored cheese is created. Next one is flavored cheese. There are various flavored cheese, again typically 28 to 34 degree percentage of fat. Classical examples: Gouda with cumin, Lancashire with chives, and Pecorino with truffles. Hard cheese like Gouda, white Stilton, and cheddar, to which a variety of flavors like nuts, fruits, or herbs are added. Those made where the ingredients have been added to the cheese from the beginning are infinitely better than blended cheese, made by combining a young cheese with various ingredients in the blender, then pressing them into shapes. Here, hard cheeses are flavored during the starting itself with different items, maybe like cumin, truffles, or chives, or different herbs and spices, which gives the end product with a spice flavor, or whatever the ingredient is, that flavor is got to the cheese. These were the 7 basic different methods of types of cheese process. Now we go to the next method, that is modern cheese making. The next type, that is modern cheese making. Today cheesemakers are not controlled by tradition or regulation, so they can make whatever they like using whatever milk they like to play around with traditional recipes to create their own unique cheese. So they can make cheddar with buffalo milk, mozzarella with cow's milk, and brie with goat's milk, and they can mess around with the culture and molds they use. Consequently, not every cheese will fit into these categories. Now these modern cheeses they mix and match the molds or the methods or the processes or the different types of milk to form new categories of milk, or that is cheese. So I presume you have understood the different types of cheese that are available in the market. Thank you for listening.